because you'll come out being, you know, you'll build up a reputation, and your character is what is we remembered. You know, that's the only thing that's going to be remembered about you. And if someone remembers you like that, that's, you know, that's how heroes are remembered. That's how leaders are remembered. You know, as just someone you can count on. That you don't have to worry about them going back on their word. That's what makes a good leader and a good hero. I guess I really can't think of any more to say. I'm just so freaking lonely. And right now, you know, Jenny, we spent the last 3 years together, you know, just short of 3 years, and, you know, birthdays, holidays, just all the important days that you always spend with that significant other, and tonight's her birthday, you know, and she's out with her other friends, and she didn't really want me to come out with them. And it's really hard. It's really hard on me. I just can't even imagine. I never thought this would ever happen. I mean, her birthday, that's more important than my birthday in my eyes, you know? Like, her birthday is one of the biggest days of the year to me, if not the biggest. I got her a really nice watch for her birthday, and I know she enjoys it. Just, it's one of the best things I've ever given her, as far as like thought and just the whole 9 yards, you know. And she wears it every day, and I know that no one else will get her anything that nice. No one might ever get her anything that nice ever again in her life. And like, it seems like that if someone did something like that for me, I would feel obligated to, because I know she cares about me a lot. So if it was someone else that did something that nice for me, that I cared as much as she cares about me, I wouldn't be able to mentally make the decision to not include them in something as important as their birthday. So I'm really confused. I'm talking to a camera, you know, trying to understand myself. I'm just so lost right now. You know, I thought about if it would be any different if I was dead, you know. And the only thing stopping me, like, honestly, from just calling it quits, is whenever I tell the idea of me not being around anymore to Jenny, she cries. Very, very passionately, she cries about the idea of me not being around. And she admitted to me that she's never ruled out the fact of getting back together with me. And even though she said that she knew it wouldn't be anytime soon, I would wait 50 years for her, you know? Because I know we're going to be friends in the meantime. But it's just like, what happens if, I mean, there's a good chance that she'll never get back with me, so what happens in 60 years whenever she doesn't, and I finally dies? I mean, what did I spend the last 60 years doing? Because I'm not going to be with anybody else. I'm not going to, like, because I'm committed. Like, I gave her my word that I was spending the rest of my life with her, and I can't change that. It's written in stone in my mind, and it's unremovable. I can't change it. If I would, I would change it. If I could, I would change it. But it's one of those things that if I change that, it's like I feel like I would cease to exist as who I know myself as, who I value myself as. I don't know what it is about not having a companion in my life that's just so freaking darkening. I don't want to be alone. No one wants to be alone. If you get down to the root of it, no one wants to be alone. It seems nearly impossible, if not completely impossible, for a human being to want to actually want to be alone. I love having her around. I guess what I should start off saying is I love having somebody around. And whenever I decided that she was the one that I wanted to have around, now I can't have anybody else around. You know, I can't substitute the spot that she signified in my life with a roommate. I can't um, substitute that with another woman. So now I'm left with just a huge blank spot in my world around me, and in my mind, in my heart, my soul, all those metaphysical ideas. We met, and this will give you an idea of my idea of my ideals and my philosophies. On March 18th, 2006, that was the day I met Jenny. I was, of course, single, um, and I was waiting. I was hoping for someone to come into my life. I wasn't depressed about it. I wasn't sad about it. I was determined about it. And I was comfortable being determined about it and waiting for it to happen. And I'm sure I had a level of impatience too. So driving down the road about 7:30 at night, and I started thinking, like, didn't take me long, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I was thinking, I'm like, I feel like that I have to change this, that I'm in control of my destiny, that if I don't do it, the outside world, there's no force of the outside world that's going to control my destiny. So I have to do it. So it clicked right then. So I put the blinker on, and I'm just going to turn completely around. I felt like it was symbolic of what I should do. So I turned the car around and went the opposite direction. And I didn't know where I was going, didn't know what I was doing. But changing my destiny. I knew that I was taking control. And one of the closest things to me was a coffee shop. I've been there a few times. I played acoustic guitar there. But I had not planned to go there. This was just something that, when I took control of my destiny, I was like, I'll do this. It's the first thing that came to mind, so I did it. I go to the coffee shop. In front of me is a girl and a guy, who I presume to be a couple. And I noticed the girl seemed like that she definitely wasn't from around here. If I had to give her a stereotype, she reminded me of someone you would expect to see walking down the street in Southern California, downtown Southern California someplace. And I'm like, oh, she's probably here on vacation. They're here on vacation, coming to Florida, whatever. They're a couple. So, they're in front of me, they get their coffee, they go back outside. I get my coffee. I go outside, where I have my guitar with me. And I start playing. And I glance up at her every couple minutes or whatever, because she is an attractive girl, but I see that she's taken, so I'm not going to gawk at her. And the next thing I know, she's looking at me. And she starts talking to me. Which is something I don't really do a whole lot of. I don't just talk to, strangers. I'm social, but I'm not I don't engage in I don't engage in communication, like talking back and forth. I make small comments. But this was different. I started talking, and I find out that that's not her boyfriend or her husband or anything, and that she's single. And she's, I play them some songs because they were both interested in my music. And she says, well, we're going out, to get a drink up here at the local tavern. If you want to, you can come join us. And that's not something I do either. I don't go to the taverns very often. I'm like, you know what? I'm taking control of my destiny. I'll take a chance. So I go back home and throw on, a change or whatever, and go back, meet him out there. I don't really talk to her a whole lot. I talk to the guy that's there because he's another musician, and he was, we're talking about music. And then they decide they're going to leave there. And she's like, well, if you want to, you can join us over, we're going to go over to another little place. I'm like, that's cool, So I went over there, and the next thing you know, I'm talking to her. And, we talked for a good hour, hour and a half.